So I was a CEO of a global tech company. I joined this company when we were like 10 employees. We grew it to hundreds of employees worldwide. I'm still a shareholder in that company. And about 4 years ago, I initiated what I say is a business divorce. And simultaneously, my wife decided that it was time to initiate an actual marital divorce at the same time. And I found myself at the YMCA and a woman asked me, "Who's your emergency contact?" And I broke down crying because I had no one. And so I had started reading business books when I was like 12, 13 years old because I wanted to make my dad proud and be a great leader in business. And admittedly, I'd achieved a fair degree of success. I mean, we grew a $30 million company. And when I started, but I said, like, something must be wrong. Like no one wants to follow me. And so I was in a family business. Ultimately my business divorce was with my family members, my father primarily. And I started looking outside of the business world, going to a lot of things kind of more in the therapy world. I discovered Dr. John Gottman's work, who I'm sure you're familiar with, the marriage researcher who can predict divorce with 94% accuracy after observing a couple talking for 20 or 30 minutes on camera. What struck me was his prediction model for divorce would have predicted every business divorce, the one with my father, not only of course, my marital divorce, but every business executive that I had fired, salespeople who'd left and gone to the competition. And so I was inspired to say, well, what if this marital research and marriage communication research could be applied to working relationships, and also take some of the best practices from the business world and apply them to create great families. And that was really the birth of the talk shifts. And so the other side is I've been an engineer, so emotional intelligence was not something that really came naturally to me. And I guess I'm also a man. So, we like very prescriptive advice. And I had this experience in 2001 where I opened our businesses in France and Germany. And I had the unique opportunity as an adult to learn 2 languages, French and German, in close succession over a 5-year period. So what I realized is through the whole journey is my father was a somewhat abusive kind of dad and certainly boss. And so I was 42 years old. And as much as I tried, I always wanted to be so different, right? And in many ways, I was very different as a leader. But I discovered that kind of my heart was in the right place of wanting to be a more compassionate leader. But unconsciously, a lot of my words were not. So what was really in my heart was still coming out in much more passive aggressive or aggressive leadership style. And so in kind of setting aside all these business books and really exploring a lot of new age kind of stuff I would have judged as woo-woo psychobabble maybe when I was a CEO, I always had this kind of CEO business hat on. I said, how can I translate this in stuff that people who are just kind of hardcore business people like myself would say, this is something I can do. And I always had this language lens of how can I translate into specific phrases that we can use to improve our relationships, improve commitment and connection, both at work and at home. And that was really kind of this universal language talk shifts, if you will, that there's just simple things we can do to change our communication.
I love that. I love both your journey and your story and the ahas you had, and then the idea of how can I make it really like almost foolproof.